Oh, hi. Didn't see you come in. This is the
Welcome.
BroJ Podcast.
Demurely, like,
Ooh. Fancy
seeing you here.
Do you come here often? No, you don't, because I've seen the analytics.
I'm always watching.
I ordered, what are they called? Lav mics for our game night. It's a whole system.
Okay, yeah.
So it comes with 4 lav mics, transmitters, and 1 receiver, and I can just plug it right into the laptop. It's just got a normal 3.5 audio jack.
There you go.
Had amazing reviews, a lot of reviews. They were positive. It was only like, I think it's about $250.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. So it's a really cheap kit. I forget what it's called, but like, I guess we'll find out. It should show up next week sometime.
That'd be cool. That much
So-
nice.
Yeah, that way our audio won't be weird. And then I was thinking that we stream it live to our podcast channel, and it's a midweek game night podcast. I mean,
Yeah, might as well. Like, kind of what the game night turns into, anyways.
that's all it is, anyways. We just sit around and chat about our week.
It's like 50% game, 50% just chatting and talking about shit.
Yeah, and I think especially with the new game, like, there will be an audience for it, right? Who knows how
Probably
big the
more
audience
than
will be.
Gloomhaven.
Yeah, Gloomhaven didn't. Yeah,
Yeah, there's not
I think
a
we
lot
got
of people
into it.
searching to watch it.
Yeah, I think we got into it late, and for how long we drug it out, that I think the
Yeah.
whole interest into it had completely worn out and died out. But this should be pretty fresh, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
get gear to be ready for it.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
also, I don't know if you
Mhm.
write notes down anywhere. I need to know the dimensions of your table, because what I want to do is order a black tablecloth.
Get rid of the bumblebee effect?
Yes, because it's very
How
shiny. It's not the sorry.
dare.
Maybe I'll look for a bumblebee tablecloth.
I'm just kidding. That's fine. We can cover it up.
But it's that reflection on it, and the light right above it going down. Like, it's been so tricky trying to get the camera right at the right angle. Just move it back and forth. It's just always really, really shiny.
I love how we've
But-
gotten to the point where you're buying stuff for my dinner table. If I just stubbornly don't do anything for long enough, people will just get stuff for my things.
Actually, that's what's happened to Asmongold. I don't know if you watch anything from Asmongold.
I don't.
People who don't know, for whatever reason, he started off as a huge World of Warcraft streamer, and he lived with his mom. He played games with his mom, and he took care of his mom for a long time. She died like 2 years ago, but he's still living in this house that's old that he grew up in, and it's all like, it's getting dilapidated. It's not quite there, but like,
It's wearing down quick.
there's holes in the ceiling where raccoons get in, and possums and like, but because of who he is, right? He owns the organization of OTK, which is a huge streamer organization that has lots of
Yeah.
big streamers in it. And like, he has plenty of money to take care of it all, but like, he just very much like a monk just hides in his little hole in his house.
Just
But it's
doesn't
got
care
to the point
enough
where
for-
people come over and they're like, "Do you want us to clean for you? Do you want us to do things for you? I don't know if it's good for you to live this way." And he's like, "No, I'm good." But yeah,
That's what I
I
need
think
to do.
you need to do that. You need to approach that level.
Well, you're the first step, getting me the tablecloth. I don't think it's necessarily a non-standard sized table.
Okay.
It's not
I
like
just wanted to
it's
make sure I
custom
didn't
or
get
anything.
something, because it seems large from my perspective, but I don't want to end up getting something that like is so big that it's sitting on the ground, and then we're stepping on it and pulling on it and yanking stuff off the table. That's like my nightmare vision of
Yeah.
it. So like, I'm thinking of like getting clamps also that go on each corner that like clamp the tablecloth taut and like in place, so we can't accidentally jerk it around while we
Yeah.
have stuff sitting on it. And
And honestly, if the clamps are in the way, We can just take some small screws to it and screw it to the underside of the lip.
Oh, okay.
No, like I mean, it's not like a fancy expensive table. It's
So I
been
could
through
get
the
like,
works.
what if they have tarps that have rivets in them? I was thinking like they have tarps that have rivets in, but like, do they have tablecloths?
You
Do
can
they
put
have?
rivets into something really easy. I think I actually have a
Oh,
riveting kit.
okay. You would.
I would have
Forgot
that.
I forgot who I'm talking to.
I think and I think it still has. Yeah, I have a riveting kit that I could put rivets into it. I'm pretty sure.
Could you bring it to our podcast so that we're more riveting?
Oh,
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
boo.
Delete me. And then I'm getting a camera.
Mm-hmm.
I've been searching around. I think I just finally decided late last night. I've made up my mind which camera to get. It's called the Insta 360. I don't know if you've heard of the Insta 360
I think I actually
cameras.
have heard of that before.
They have a variety of them. So they have one that's like got like a bubble lens on it, and it's like double sided, right? So you have a bubble lens on this side, bubble lens on this side. So it's literally like an entire global view of
Mm-hmm.
everything. I was starting off thinking of getting one of those so that like I never have to change anything. I could just crop sections of it out
Mm-hmm.
and like with one lens get like a good view of everything. But that one's more expensive.
Do those 360 cameras not create too much of a fisheye effect?
They do if you just have to change. You have to crop your view down. So like it would
Okay.
render or what do you call it? Probably render. So OBS would render the entire image. Then I could crop out sections of it and have an effect that like unfisheyes it
Okay.
essentially.
Cool.
So it would look like we had a few different cameras.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, as I've been talking through different technical Discord channels, is that would really work the processor, and my MacBook couldn't handle that. It's
Oh.
so heavy on the processor. You'd have to have a really nice GPU. What's it called? Oh my gosh, my brain. Encoding. All the
Yeah.
encoding work it'd have to do, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could see that. You would probably need at least a 3000 series NVIDIA because they got a big boost to their encoder, built-in encoder.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
That was the first generation that got the big boost to the built-in encoder. Beforehand, you had to get like an external encoder that worked with the GPU. Yeah, and a lot of like editing software, you can choose to use the built-in encoder and NVIDIA and stuff like that. NVIDIA's
So
always
there's
had an encoder, but it's just the 3000 series. I think was the first one that had the big jump.
Oh, okay. So there's another one that I guess has been around for at least last year sometime. Called the. Let me look it up real quick.
You're not liking what you're seeing?
What is wrong with me? It's early.
Oh.
This is what it's like when I wake up early.
I only
Like,
woke up like an hour ago, too.
It takes me so long for my brain to initiate and go, "We're awake. What are you doing?" Here it is. It's called the Insta 360 Link. So it's one camera, but it's on like a 3-axis gimbal,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just moves around. And then you can pre-program spots, so it flicks its view
Oh,
to
wow.
specific locations. So I'm gonna get that, and it's not as expensive. It's only $250. So I'll be able to use that and like look at and pen around and flip.
What
to
about
the
my
game
lazy
board.
Susan?
I think we're gonna retire your lazy Susan. I want to retire it because it's a lot of work. Panning back and forth and rotating it between you and Wes, like just spinning this lazy Susan with the camera on it.
I guess
Oh
that
my
lazy Susan will
gosh.
have to go back to being a kitchen gadget. Don't worry. I'll keep it around just in case.
Should we have a ceremony to retire it?
To put it back into retirement.
Yeah. Go back to its old hobbies of
Yeah.
sitting in
of
the
like-
pantry and holding spices.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got ChatGPT up. We're gonna do fake news, okay?
Okay.
Give me another five headlines. Okay, I guess I'm gonna read it. Okay,
Okay.
Oh, this is risky because I'm tired. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Get ready.
Okay, headline number one. Oh, so for those who don't know, this is our segment called Fake News, where ChatGPT generates 5 crazy headlines, and we pick one and try to figure out what it would take for it to be reality. Okay, number one. Invisible plant causes confusion in art gallery. Visitors question existence of exhibits.
What? Okay.
Maybe we do need to have you read these.
Copy and paste it into the chat, and I'll.
Hang on. I can try.
Okay. You got
can
this.
do this.
I
Okay.
believe in you.
I think there's some sort of invisible plant that causes confusion in AI art gallery. So the AI is getting images of an invisible plant. It's being labeled as an invisible plant, but it can't see anything, so it's confused.
Wait, it's saying the AI is confused about the invisible plant, or the?
Yeah. Visitors question the existence of exhibits. What is happening? Okay, well, we'll move
Something
on.
about invisible plant.
City
Fair.
discovers its entire population can telepathically communicate on Tuesdays.
Just on Tuesdays. Okay.
Okay. Moon declares independence from Earth. Applies for membership in the Galactic Federation. Okay.
There you go.
Scientists confirm clouds over city are actually lost cotton candy from nearby theme park.
It just somehow ends up goes up into the sky like a lost balloon.
Windy enough that it's like,
Yeah.
it's just floating up there, and like, no, that's just cotton candy. That could happen.
Well, I thought it was gonna go the route of like cotton candy factory, like the fumes from the cotton candy factory like was containing too much cotton candy, and so it was creating cotton candy clouds or something.
It has a malfunction that explodes and releases cotton candy in the atmosphere, and now there's a huge cloud floating around, and it's just stuck in the atmosphere, and scientists are trying to figure out how to capture it.
How to deal with it without destroying everything. New phenomenon that they're studying intently. Like, how's it staying up in the sky?
Wow.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I want that to happen.
That'd be awesome.
Local zoo's octopus learns to code. Hacks aquarium lights for more sleep.
From what?
It hacks the aquarium lights and turns them off so they could get more sleep.
Nice.
Well, there has been some news articles where octopi have been escaping their captivities.
They're actually really difficult to contain.
Yeah, and then they get out and they just explore, and like they had to set up some cameras to watch and see what happens, because like they'll lose it and then it just comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's he going? This could I don't know about the hacking the lights, but I can imagine going out, finding a button, and like figuring out what the button does, and like, boop.
Oh, for sure. Because they're actually really smart little problem solvers. That's like half the fun of having them as a hobby, is creating these little puzzles for them to solve, of like opening containers to get to like a snack, or you put them in a container and they escape it. But like, I've actually seen, for a while there, I was actually following a few aquarium channels. And one of them had like recently was starting to get an octopus, and he was like, I've spent the last 5 months planning out this aquarium so that it won't escape, because that's like the hardest part about keeping them, is that they'll just escape. So you really have to create an enclosure that really keeps them in there, otherwise they'll just figure out a way and get right out.
I watched a video not too long ago of Mark Robert, and he had an octopus, but he designed an aquarium to be like an obstacle course. So I had to like come out of the water, go around, find other ways through this whole like, looked like a hamster type of maze with the tubes and everything. And so like at the end, he just put a whole stockpile of shrimp so it could smell it, the scent through the water, and was just attracted towards it. But it solved all sorts of puzzles where it had to like move a block out of the way to change a lever so it can open a gate and go through, and like it just figured them out. It
Yeah.
was pretty cool. um, wow, we talked about all these.
We're rolling through them. Next.
Okay, hang on. I want to take a second attempt at the invisible plant one.
Okay.
Okay, because I think there's something here. Invisible plant causes confusion in art gallery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I got the word AI from. AI isn't in this sentence at all.
Okay, because the
Anywhere.
first time you said it, I didn't hear AI, and then you were really hyper focused on AI, and I was like, I must have missed something. I was really confused. Okay, I'm glad I'm not insane, and the AI was not a part of that sentence at the beginning.
Visitors question existence of exhibits. It's an entire exhibit of invisible plants, but visitors are
No,
like,
it's
"There's
no,
nothing
it's
here."
one exhibit that's invisible, and it makes them question the existence of all the other exhibits. Like they can see them, but they question them now, as to whether like they're seeing the real exhibit. But like you see this shit at like art galleries all the time of like one like really far out there piece in the exhibit, and like people freak out and question like the collection, and I don't know. I just feel like
Oh.
I see like philosophical freakouts at art galleries, almost similar to this all the time in like articles.
There's like
Every-
art, like just a couple empty bottles in the corner, and people are just staring like, "Ooh, what does this mean?"
yeah, and then the like title of the article is like people question their existence in the world after seeing the bottle in the corner and determining it's art or something.
I don't know why this made me think of it, but I read an article a while ago about there was this shark that was. There's nothing particularly interesting about the shark. It was just a big shark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but some artists got a hold of it and they tried to, as a whole, without doing anything to it, encase it in like like some sort of clear plasticine or something like that. And
Okay.
so instead of like removing its guts and the things that are gonna like deteriorate it, like you do with mummies
Okay. So a
and when
dead
you
shark.
bury people, yeah, it's a dead shark.
Okay.
Sorry.
I feel like that's a key part of everything you've been saying, because I just imagine an artist jumping into the ocean, manhandling a shark and trying to like wrap it with saran wrap or something. And then you start talking about removing its guts, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, it's a dead
I'm
shark.
I'm slowly understanding what's going on. Sorry, continue.
And it's like after a little while, like they noticed some discoloration and it like started to deteriorate on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
um and get moldy and stuff, and like, oh no, this our project's ruined. Let's see if we can sell it to somebody before it like completely disintegrates. And it sold for several $1 million because it was so unique and
Oh,
strange,
really?
and they made a lot of money off of that one piece of art. And it was
So
just like
was it like a
a
plastic
decaying
container, or
shark.
was it like engulfed in like
uh
resin? Because I've seen there's a channel called Evelyn and Caitlin where they do these big resin projects, and they've for a couple years now on Halloween they encase a jack lantern in resin. And they're like making new attempts every year to like try to make the process better. But they run into like problems where like the pumpkin will like essentially decay or deteriorate inside the resin after it's cured and stuff like that.
Oh, I've watched them do that. Yeah, with the pumpkin. I watched that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool. Essentially the same sort of thing. Yeah, in resin. They just had a shark in resin and it just completely deteriorated.
it's just sold for a boatload of money.
Well, I found it. It was only 6 million. That's not much. It looked like there was a lot more that sold for a lot more.
6 million is still a lot.
Yeah. And it has like this weird green hue and it looks crazy, but like and the shark looks sort of like decayed, like almost turning into a zombie, but it like keeps changing inside this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like I can kind of understand why that would sell, but at the same time, the way art is determined and like what it sells for has always been so weird to me. Like when I was younger, there was a college that was having a I heard about this college that was having a big basically like scholarship slash like prize pool money winning for like an art competition kind of a thing. And this guy, for shits and giggles, he worked as a landscaper and worked on sprinkling systems. And there's a thing called a valve manifold in a sprinkling system, which is basically like the central unit where you have the different valves that are connected to like the box where you go press your numbers and say which zone you want to turn on. Based on which zone, it'll turn on one of the valves, and it's kind of this like hub of pipes and like crazy valves and stuff like that.
I think I've
And
seen that. Yeah.
it's usually pretty buried, and it's, you know, the glue's kind of sloppily all over it, and it gets really dirty, it gets really messy. But he was cutting out an old one, and for kicks and giggles, as like a watch this will be funny, submitted the manifold to the art competition, and he ended up getting first place in the competition when I think he won like several $100,000 and like a scholarship in his college. And at the end of it, I just remember at the end of it, he was asked what inspired him to make this project. Like, they didn't know it was a sprinkler. It's like, oh, that's just something I picked up at my workplace and thought it was funny, and I thought I would submit it. And a lot of people were really mad at his like kind of making fun of the art community kind of a deal attitude, but he like won several $100,000 for just like a piece of junk that he took off, and people were like coming up with all these like inspirations from it and all these things, and it's like, man, you can really, or like the person that took a banana and nailed it to a wall at that one art museum. It's just like, it's just crazy what people will run with when trying to like come up with meanings behind an object when it's submitted as art.
There's this thing I came across. I meant to send it to you, but like, it is crazy. They're called a strand beast.
Strand beast. Okay.
Yes. You may just want to just Google this. Actually, maybe I can share it.
Oh, I have seen these. The walking machines.
Yeah. So this strand beast thing.
No, they're really cool.
So yeah, they're like wind powered. I guess you have to. So wind pushes them, but the way the mechanics of the pipes and their hinges, it makes it look like the monster's walking, as it's being pulled across.
Like almost centipede style with like the hundreds of legs.
I sort of want to buy a kit and try making one. I think that would be fun.
That'd be cool.
Imagine if we had the funds. Let's just imagine we've done it.
I mean, it'd be really cool because they have like that, like essentially a sail that is catching the wind in some way, either with a windmill kind of effect or more like a sail effect, and then it just like one little first initiation of movement, and then it just carries itself across. Most of the time, you see them walking across a beach. I think there's a specific artist that made them famous recently. And he makes them huge. He like the size of buildings. Some of the ones he's making.
Yeah,
but it's really cool because you'll see most time I see the mechanics they're using for these strand beasts is in bridge building games. I don't know if you've ever played like a bridge building game.
Yeah, I've played a couple.
Where you essentially have like a node and you have like a bar of structure like a steel or wood, and you have these different nodes and you're trying to put them together to make a bridge for like a car or something to cross. And sometimes they add like hydraulics, so you have to like get to different levels of height and stuff like that. But people will use these kind of mechanics to basically make them to where the bridge is like moving and almost transforming to like, without any hydraulics or anything, move the car on a road up to like a higher place. And it's basically all just like as soon as weight hits this one point, because of the way everything's structured, it's able to hinge, but the structure allows it to move in a very specific way. So like the car will be here, it'll like the whole bridge will just kind of like almost collapse, move around, the car will end up over here.
It'll like a little lever will like flip because of the weight distribution, and then suddenly it's higher, and then it can just roll down.
Sort of, but like in this, you got like hinges that are essentially kind of like moving based on how the foot is shifting. Yeah. All these hinges on this bridge are like shifting and moving until it finally moves the car. It's just crazy what people do with these kind of. I forget what the mechanics that they're using has a name.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember what it is.
It almost looked very robotic when I first saw that video the other day. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
is this some sort of new robot? I'm like, oh no, it's just the wind pulling this thing along. But like, yeah, I'd be very interested to learn about how those sort of mechanics work.
It's usually like an oscillating movement. Is usually what it is, and it's not moving. It's not moving very far. It might just be kinetic linkages.
Oh, sure, I know what that. Yeah, of course. Kinetic linkages.
Well, it's a really cool like mechanics deal that you see in a lot in like micro robotics and stuff like that, where they don't have a lot of room for gears and motors to like move every part of the mechanics, so they have to get it more creative with like the linkages, so it kind of moves more on
Oh,
its own off of like one spot, kind of a thing.
now that you say that, it's reminding me of a video I saw a little while ago of a guy made his own. It's like a wheelchair, but it had like a bunch of legs, and like the way the legs would move.
It was a Strand Beast wheelchair. I know which one you're talking about.
Is they're the same sort of thing?
It's the exact same thing. It's got like
Oh,
30 little legs. It's exactly the same thing as these Strand Beasts.
what?
Yeah. So I remember seeing posts about that.
The YouTube algorithm thinks it knows that I am interested in this stuff.
It knows you. Yeah, so sometimes art like produces these really cool things, and then sometimes it produces a banana that someone nailed to a wall. So, you know, there's a whole spectrum of quote unquote art.
We're gonna make art one day, Brandon. You and I.
Me and you are gonna make art.
Yeah. Yeah. Is
Think
this
so?
art?
Is this art? Is podcast an art? Oh God, that's a question.
Oh my gosh. Is there an art to podcasting? I would say that there slightly is, right?
There's an
Like,
audio art. I would argue. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and because like I've started to notice the difference between like YouTubers and Twitch streamers, and I've heard a lot of the discussion about it, and it's like it's a completely different skill set to be able
Mm-hmm.
to like create content on improv while streaming, and the other one like YouTubers, they write things out, and I'm like, I don't even, my brain doesn't even work that way.
Mm-hmm.
To plan things out and then create those scenes and cut them together, like my brain's just like, I think that's the way I've always worked, is like only function by the seat of my pants. Like trying to create a plan beforehand is
Mm-hmm.
the quickest way to make me like tune out or stop functioning. I
Fair. Fair.
so
Very much
so
so.
podcasting, right? You still have to consider your audience and like your medium. Like we have to consider that they can only hear and not see most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to realize that I think a lot of podcasts are just done through YouTube and with video. A lot of modern ones, they're just like, we've got video, we're just doing a video, and then
It
the
feels like a
audio
lot of them
part's
just
just
do
an
both.
extra.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of podcasts out there. I didn't.
A lot.
It's
It
insane.
is such a sad. There's a podcast for just about everything.
So I was thinking like, so I've been listening to podcasts, trying to do research to figure out how people are doing them, but instead of like motivating me, it's sort of been like, oh, there's already tons of people doing exactly the same thing. Is this going to be relevant or useful? But then I came to the conclusion of, I listened to 15 different podcasts in 1 week. So I think people have
Oh
the
yeah,
capacity to throw in a bunch of podcasts into their lifestyle, So maybe it's not too far fetched to
for
have so
sure.
many of them.
I have like 15 podcasts I watch on the or listen to on the regular. So, but there's also like ones where I'll look up a topic, and the first podcast I come on listen to, I either don't like the people talking, don't like the way they structure it, and so I move on to someone else who's doing the same topic and find someone I do like. So just because someone else is doing the exact same thing as us, someone might like the way we're doing it more than someone else.
I think mentally you just have to pretend like, yeah, we got something. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's the only way to keep going.
There's so many people watching us. We have to keep going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos like there's so many of them where people try to dissect how Mr. Beast does content. And like, well, here's these tricks and these tricks. Everyone's trying to figure out how he does his stuff and like there's some sort of secret formula.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find one technique, and I think it applies to just about anything in life,
Okay.
is visualizing your success and acting as if you're already there. And so, for example, I go, okay, I imagine we have 100,000 people listening to us or interested in the podcast. What do I have to provide to them? Suddenly my mind goes, make t-shirts. Oh, post this on Twitter so they know when we. So my mind automatically fills in the blanks of like a podcast
Mm-hmm.
that has 100,000 viewers. How does it function and keep it up? Well, they do all these things so that it works. So the idea is take those thoughts and like put them into action, even though we don't have that amount of success. You got to behave like you're going to any moment.
Yeah.
And so
No, that's
that's
fair.
really been the best advice I've heard from anyone out of ever. The fake it till you make it sort of mentality is really just like envisioning that you are successful, and then your mind will fill in the blanks of what you're not doing to get to that point. But I
No,
think it
fair.
applies to a lot of things in life. Like for my job too, I was just like, okay, well, I know I want to get to this point in our QA system. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I want it to end up being? Where I just click a button and it goes through, and I go, okay, well, oh, we need all these things in place in order to do it. And then bam, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I have to do now.
Mm. Yeah, having a clear vision of even just the end product like that. Yeah, I guess pretending that you're practically there, and what it takes to get to it, what it takes to get to it at that point just comes to your head. No, that makes sense.
That's free advice.
This advice
Uh,
brought to you by.
okay, not free. Join our Patreon. We're gonna have to do a Patreon.
Join my OnlyFans.
Yep.
I just send out beard pics. It's my OnlyFans.
Let's make it a thing. We can make it. Is it? If
The
it's
long
not,
and the short.
let's not lick it up to see if it's because everything's already been done. But
Do dramatic shots of the long beard and then dramatic shots of the short beard.
yeah, like what if it's just you and I, like carving our beards and stuff into different shapes and things? No, I don't.
I bet you someone out there.
Is someone really into beards?
Someone's really into beards. That's their fetish.
Oh my gosh. I guess you don't know until you try it.
It's
There was
true.
I saw a news article of a lady doing an OnlyFans that was essentially she would dress in old Victorian long dresses, but then just like show a little bit of ankle.
Oh, okay. Like the old school tantalizing. What
Yeah,
happened?
exactly. And she like blew up and made a bunch of money. I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
okay. Part of it's because of the comedy, right? And
Yeah. And then I'm sure
yeah.
there is a percentage that is just into that.
So maybe we could, do it sort of ironically, like
But
the
seriously?
comedic aspect of it, but sort of seriously.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
just in case someone is serious.
I mean, just in case, you never know. I mean, we're just trying to help the people out there.
Our only beards.
The dry beard shot, the one with oil in it,
Oh wow, you have ideas.
braid it, do it with my different beard beads.
Well, you have a beard to do things with. I've always
Yeah.
been like, I've always kept mine really short, but like shaped it differently on my face.
Oh, okay. So you could do
But
the shaping.
Yeah, I could do like the different shapes. I'm missing the corners of my mouth. There's no hair right there, so I do have some limitation. I can't do a full Fu Manchu. So sorry.
At least it's even. Well, I'll forgive you this one time.
It's true. It is. It's even on both sides, so I could do
Yeah.
it. But you've got the volume.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like pigtails. We could do the whole
my.
gambit.
Oh my word. Wow, talk about bad ideas.
We're just full of them today.
Well, I used to do a podcast a long time ago in the Facebook days. We're talking probably 11, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That I only uploaded as audio files to Facebook. and it was called "What's Shaking in OJ's Pants." There's still some trace of it out there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a great
Uh,
name.
but the topics were so absurd. I think the most memorable one was an entire episode about how to design a dating app for homeless people and how um, there's a market for it. There's so many homeless people in America and they need love too.
Yeah.
And like we could design this thing where they could, hook up and meet each other online with their apps.
That they have full access to all the time.
Yeah, that they have access to.
That'd be so funny to try to convince like a board of executives of that idea and see how far you could get.
Well, the point is that like they're homeless because they're bad with money. They're bad with money, meaning they have no impulse control. They'll just spend money on anything. That's why they're homeless and poor. So, they're
The app.
it's easy to separate them from the dollar bills, y'all.
Exactly.
Okay. What about anything you want to talk about? Video games. Video games.
Video games. Let's see.
Have you seen any gameplay of Helldivers 2?
I don't think I've even heard of it. Helldivers?
You haven't? I thought you manifested this game into existence.
Helldivers 2?
Yes. So, it's very much like it's a first-person shooter, third-person shooter.
Oh, looks cool just from
Just
images.
one thing that I hate. I can't stand third-person perspective on games. Very few games can do it right. And I didn't.
Fair.
Looking at it, it didn't look like it was done right, but you don't really know until you try it. So I'm very tempted to try it this weekend. And you can find missions, and you're essentially sent to a planet, to a place on a mission, either blow up alien eggs, do various things in different planets, and then you come back. Mine resources on planets, so it's like a little mini mission thing.
Is it PvP?
It looks like it's all PvE.
Okay, good. Because
That's
if this
what it
was like
looked like.
another Tarkov kind of scenario, then
It didn't look that way.
online co-op. Okay. Interesting.
But right, it didn't look like there was ability. So this is what you were talking about the other day. How you were like, man, it'd be cool if there was a thing that was like Destiny 2, or like one of those old like just guns, just tactical weapons.
Yeah. Less
and
focus on
grenades.
abilities and more like you got your guns, your grenades, maybe, and that's it. It does look. It just came out too.
Yeah,
It's like a horde,
like today.
like an alien horde kind of game too. Like there's, like you could be overwhelmed, kind of a thing.
Yeah, like Zerglings can rush you.
Yeah.
I saw this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is almost exactly what Brandon was talking about.
Yeah, it is.
The only
actually.
thing that looks weird to me is obviously I have a hard time personally with third person perspective. I feel like I've only ever played like one or two games that could do it correctly, where I didn't feel disoriented and feel like the character was blocking a chunk of the vision. Because sometimes they're too close to the character, and so you can't see the entire left half of the screen. And it's like you have to get it just at the right angle to where they actually don't take up anything of what you're seeing.
Or you have the swap shoulder mechanic.
Oh right, yeah.
Because Ghost Phantoms was one of those. Ghost Phantoms. Tom Clancy Ghost Phantoms was a weird one where it was like a mix between third person and first person. Like when you zoomed in, you went into kind of like this more first person mode, and when you were like up against a wall kind of a thing, you could kind of get more first person, but it was overall third person. But they had like the cool mechanic of like swapping shoulders, so you could see, depending on kind of the wall you came up, your character was more squished off to one side, so you could fully see this other side. I felt like they did it really well.
And it's hard to get guns to feel good from third person because you don't have the same sort of kickback and everything, and like making it feel like a real gun. So I'm concerned about that too. Those are my two biggest concerns about trying it that I would be super critical of when as soon as I jump in there is like, how's the gunplay?
Yeah.
And do I get motion sickness, or do I feel like I can see everything? And if those two check out, it's probably a great game.
It does look like it's maybe max 2 players, which kind of sucks.
No, I
If
think I
it's
saw
if it's
teams of 4. I saw teams of 4 people playing it.
well, usually when they say co-op, it's 2 people.
I
Is
did
the
see teams of
concern.
4 people playing it because it has
Okay.
like a little like you go into a mission together, you pick a mission. It always, whenever I think of this sort of gimmick, I think of, what was that game? Shit.
Yeah.
The stealing, the robbing banks 2 game.
Payday 2?
Payday 2, thank you.
Nailed it.
Where you choose a mission, right? You got the whole map layout, and like missions are popping up and going away, and so you just pick one, and you got your group.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go in there. At the end, you have the scene where you have your 4 characters lined up. You see everybody's stats, so that's sort of like in mission stat screen too.
Okay.
That I've seen. So it looks like it's specifically 4-player squads that do it.
Okay. Well, the only other thing I was going to talk about gaming wise is I've recently gained a better appreciation for people who are on a different level in gaming. Like there's like the really bad gamers, there's like average gamers, and then there's
Super gamers.
There is a big difference between that and like really good borderline professional players. They are just, I mean, like you're obviously like, okay, they're pro players, they're really good. You see them play and they're like really good, but like playing with them in a game
they're superhuman. They're not
like,
human.
They're not human, and it is just like an insane difference. It's like it's unfair to compare them against playing with other people, with normal people.
It's like they are the people who have spreadsheets about the game open up while they're playing. And like they have calculations, they know exactly the number of damage each shot's doing. They know it.
Yeah.
They know how much damage you're doing.
Yeah. But like
without even seeing it. They know, if they could just hear how many shots you fired and know how much damage you've done.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But like you see like the analogy I was going to go towards was you hear people talk about like swordsmanship or like something where you have like a tool you're using in your hand, like I don't know, like racquetball or something, but like the tool becomes like an extension of like the pro player's hand, and it's like it's just another extension of their arm because they're just like so in tune with their like tool of choice. It's almost like the character in the game is like an extension of them. They're just like that in tune with like the movement of the character and the precision of their like shots and like first person shooter. It's insane.
I agree. I know this feeling. I've been there one time in my life when at the very beginning of Counter-Strike, where, you know, it was Counter-Strike mod, right? This is before 1.16, the one that like, we're talking pre 1.6, before release, right? I and my clan, we'd play so much, but I had a chair and a table somehow were the perfect height. Like and this matters because like the angle of your arm while you're holding the mouse matters so much. And I even have an adjustable table right now and a really nice chair. I've never been able to get that exact same lineup and getting your wrist resting in the exact right spot so you have your pivot point to move back and forth. When I was in high school, my body, this chair, and this desk, we were one unit.
Yeah.
We were and I could just think about something and think about looking in a direction, and I could just pinpoint like exactly there. And like, oh, it was just this coolest, and like it had to be that table and that chair combo together. I've never been able to get that since then. But like, it is such a cool zen feeling when you're able to lock in, you get your posture just right, your mouse moves the exact right distance you need to, and like you're just in this perfect zone. It's hard. I don't know how to get back to it. But
oh yeah, that's a hard feeling to beat. I think I've come close to that a couple times in certain games, just because I played them so much. I like understood what was happening on X level. But
And I know what my problem is. It's armrests. I have a huge problem with armrests. And actually, I should probably just take these armrests off and see if I can do it.
mhm.
Because the armrests jam up into my elbow and make me have to raise my arm up.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's just because of my body. My arm has to drop so much further down to where, and so like the gap between like here's my butt, here's where my elbow is, and like no gaming chairs compensate for that low. I have long arms. They
Mhm.
just don't do armrests right, and so I can't even get them out of the way. I might just take these off and see if that's the trick. Maybe
There
no
you go.
armrests is the answer. I don't remember if my chair had armrests or not.
I don't know. Probably a different size back then too.
Yeah, I was a completely different shaped human.
You've morphed a lot.
Yes, morphed is the correct word.
Yeah.
You know what? Since I was 20 years old, I've weighed 210 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm turning 40 this year. So for the last 20 years, I've weighed 210 pounds. My weight hardly ever fluctuates. This last year, with my new job, I gained 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
I'm now 250. I've never done that. It's purely out of stress eating.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. That's no fun. Oh, no.
So, listeners, Brendan has the same level of stress also as his job. You need to get us out of our jobs.
Please.
And it's entirely up to you.
Please.
For the-
God. My work is such a mess. So bad. I didn't have to work this weekend because Dude Bro's plan got everybody upset.
Oh, the one you kept emailing back going, nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that.
Well, basically, yeah, the one where he was like trying to downplay of it not affecting nearly as much. I was like, nope, it's going to affect all this. Nope, it's going to affect all this. And basically, everyone pushed back saying, no, you need to like, because he decided Wednesday, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday or something like that, that he wanted to basically take down everything from like Friday night through Saturday evening to like do this massive server change. And like was like trying to like expedite and push the process super hard. And then finally enough high up people were like, no, you need to like take a step back. This is not an emergency change. You need to like give us a range of dates and tell us and give us like some times we could work with you on that, because we got like all the like financial like closing stuff that has to happen for like different month stuff that like people are like working over the weekends for, and like
customers are still like doing things on the weekend.
Massive dealer stuff that are like constantly working on the weekends. We got to give them plenty of notice, and it's like he basically got told, no, you can't just rush this. Calm the fuck down and give us some dates, and we'll decide when you're allowed to do it, not you telling us when you're gonna do it. And I was just like in my office chair, like, yes, take that, dude, bro. It was
Tune into our game nights to get more stories about our work stress.
Oh yeah, that's like half of our discussions during game night is just
our jobs,
our jobs and our crazy work stories.
So I have ADD really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time though. Like it fluctuates. I can tell how some days it's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few years ago at one of my old jobs where a couple days were just missing from my brain. Like I don't know how. Even like in the day, I sort of vaguely remember that like I couldn't do anything and that I just sat there.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a problem. So sometimes it gets really bad. This whole last week has been very close to that. Like yesterday,
no.
I sat there at my laptop staring at the screen, and I read over the same JIRAs a couple times because I've got to read these bugs and they fix them and I got to test them, but trying to understand what I'm supposed to test. And like, I read that thing, I think maybe 30 times, tried to at least. I think I started trying to read it at least 30 different times.
Fair. Oh, that's rough.
And it's like, it's hard to explain what ADD. There's videos out there explain how ADD works, but essentially, you just become something that can't work. You can't do things. You just can't.
Fair.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's rough.
and then at the end of the day, they know I didn't test anything because I didn't move any of the things to done.
Yeah.
And so, like near the end of my shift, my supervisor reached out and was like, OJ, how did QA go today? I'm like,
Not good.
it did it. I haven't
Well-
responded yet. I'm about to go respond, and because I feel a lot better today. I'm probably gonna go over and test a bunch of stuff today, just because next
Just
week's
like-
release week.
Just to like catch up on a non-productive day the other day.
Yeah, it was so
Fair.
bad.
And I just spent this whole week thinking it was the wrong day. I think I spent all of Monday and Tuesday thinking it was Wednesday. All of Wednesday thinking it was Thursday. All of Thursday thinking it was Friday. And I don't know what day I thought it was yesterday. But it was just bad. I was just off. I think I had to be reminded like 30 times each day what day it actually was.
Oh, that's always fun.
Those are my least favorite because you like trying to like plan out things and plan out the week. Because I have a bunch of deadlines coming up for like stuff that people are not doing their jobs for, so I can do my section for on time. And so I'm like trying to like coordinate with them and like the other managers to like figure out when they're gonna get it done, and like thinking it's the wrong day while trying to plan that out was just it was a
So,
mess.
half days at my job, they're not like, sorry, not half. What do I call it? Fridays are
That's
like
kinda
half
day.
days. It's sort of like a half effort day. Everyone's just like, it's Friday. Enjoy your Friday. Just relax. Get something done if you need to. But that becomes a problem when I think it's Friday and it's not actually Friday.
Yeah, I could see that.
I go,
Yeah.
I know. It's just Friday. It doesn't matter.
It's freaking Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know how much longer I can keep this job.
Me-
I'm so
same.
bad at working for other. I don't know, man.
I just want to do
Maybe-
the job I want to, like I signed up to do. Is all I want to do. I just want to be a
Right?
developer. I don't want to be help desk system admin, developer, DB admin, all the things. I just don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. So viewers, this is where you come in. You can just watch. I don't know.
Watch and
Our
share it with someone.
sponsors are you.
Yeah. Just get the word
Actually, I
out
was
there.
trying to do some math the other day, trying to think of like money schemes. Like, okay, how can we actually monetize it? And like, think of like, I don't know. I heard that Patreon takes a cut of the money you make, so maybe Patreon isn't exactly the right way. But just for argument's sake, if we got only 10,000 people, that's actually a lot. But like,
Yeah.
doing a $2 subscription, just 10,000 people, $2 subscription, that's $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, we can both quit our jobs. It actually wouldn't take a whole lot.
No,
I
yeah,
mean-
you just have to convince people and provide enough of a service to like warrant the $2.
This is true.
But yeah, no, it really.
I mean,
Doesn't
when you
take a lot.
compare to how many millions of views and stuff like that songs and audio and other podcasts gets, people's videos get, like there's that many people out there. Those people are out there,
Mm-hmm.
and 10,000 of them. That's not a huge percentage of them. We just have to trick them into.
For $2 a day, you can save an OJ and a Brandon from having to work in jobs that they hate with their whole heart. These poor creatures, day in and day out throughout the week, have to wake up, go to a job, work for a living, and then come home and deal with it.
I keep dreaming about doing a GoFundMe. Like, this is a reoccurring dream and thought I have a lot. We're like, I could just do a GoFundMe where I beg people to just give me money for no reason.
Yeah, you could.
Look, just $1, and if 1 million of you do it, Look, it's just $1 for you. Just
Yeah.
spread the word,
Spread the word and get someone else to donate $1.
please.
If you put it on recurring, you'll forget about it. You're not going to miss $1.
Yeah.
It's like how much you
That's-
lose in the couch anyways.
That's cheaper than literally anything you can buy.
Yeah, true.
I don't think you can buy anything for less than $1 anymore.
I'm trying to think of something that's less
You
than
could buy
$1.
our souls.
You could buy our freedom for less than for $1.
And then it'd be like, oh, but I'm not special. We're literally the average human in every
Yeah.
way.
Well,
Middle-aged white males working full time
yeah. Yeah, there's nothing special about
that
us.
hate our jobs. Like, that's
Welcome to
such
America.
a huge majority.
Yeah, that's everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, how long have we been going for? I had to reset my OBS, so I have no
An
idea.
hour and 6 minutes.
Okay.
We're pretty much at the point where I think we have an episode.
An episode.
We
You've been
did
podcasted.
it. Take
We
that.
podcasted you.
How does that feel?
Get potted. Any last words? Any last plugs?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Good luck.
Bye.
Have fun.